Hi, and welcome to This Week in East Brunswick, the town's own news and information program. Tonight, the library's public relations specialist, Josephine Fiamingo, interviews Dr. William Lutz, professor of English at Rutgers University, about his new book, Doublespeak. And we'll see a portion of his recent appearance he made at the Friends of the Library spring meeting. Dolly Vasta will have information on an upcoming concert in town with the fabulous Grease Band. Resident veterinarian Dr. Schenck will tell us about the latest care available for your older pets. From the Middlesex County Chiropractic Center, Dr. Tom Pacone will show us the chiropractic method for relieving headaches. We'll also take a look at the graduation ceremony for the adult and continuing education program at the high school. And we'll have our review of this week's town council meeting. Also, please note the library will be closed for summer Sundays beginning June 18th through Labor Day weekend. Now here's a look at what's on Channel 8 next week. Beginning Monday morning at 10 a.m., it's Look Great, Feel Great with Lenore Kulik, followed at 10:30 by Stories from the Library. Tuesday evenings at 7, it's Psychology in Action. At 7:30, Paul Hansen hosts You and Your Money, followed by John Runyon's Business Bylines at 8 p.m. Wednesday evening at 7:30, Spotlight on Education looks at critical thinking skills in science education. Followed at 8 with a 1-hour special presentation of 18 growing up in East Brunswick with special guest country rock star Sammy Hall. We'll be back next Thursday at 7 and 8 with another edition of This Week in East Brunswick, followed by Let's Talk Health at 7:30. Be sure to check the Channel 8 program guide for recasts of all of our shows.
Hi, I'm Josephine Fiamingo. I'm here with Dr. William D. Lutz. He spoke at the Friends of the Library spring meeting, which was held at the library on June 13th. A taped portion of his presentation on doublespeak will follow this interview. First, Bill, maybe we should tell everyone exactly what doublespeak is. I think people may know, but they don't really match it with the term.
Doublespeak is language which tries to communicate, pretends to communicate without really communicating. It tries to avoid a harsh or unpleasant reality, tries to make the bad appear good, something unpleasant appear attractive. My favorite example for doublespeak was the very first doublespeak award winner, a U.S. Air Force officer who said to the American Press Corps in Cambodia, "Yeah, you always write it's bombing, bombing, bombing. It's not bombing, it's air support."
Oh, goodness. Do you have any other examples?
Yes, you don't buy a used car these days. I'm sure you've seen experienced cars. They're no longer experienced cars. You can buy an experienced Cadillac. Now you buy a previously distinguished car.
Where did the term doublespeak come from? How was that formed?
It's a created term, actually. When we got around to forming the Committee on Public Doublespeak, we needed a word that would put a bunch of ideas together. So we took from George Orwell's 1984, his famous novel, the term doublethink and newspeak. Now, newspeak was the official language designed to communicate doublethink, and doublethink is the mental process of holding two opposing ideas in your mind at the same time and believing in both of them. War is peace, for example, and slavery is freedom. Two of the great slogans from that novel. Now, lest you think that this doesn't really exist, I would quote Secretary of State Alexander Haig, who testified to an American, to the Congress, that a continued arms buildup was absolutely essential for our hopes of disarmament.
It's amazing to me how much clear and precise thinking you have to actually create the doublespeak. It's not something, where you might be confused, so then you confuse someone else. That's not the case here at all.
Oh no, this is language deliberately designed whose intent is to mislead. It's to mislead in a very sophisticated way, not through just garbling things, but through pretending to be straightforward, honest, open, or to say something, when in fact you're not saying it or you're avoiding saying it. For example, politicians these days never lie. They misspeak themselves. Everybody's misspeaking. And it goes from the ridiculous to the sublime. The ridiculous job titles are my favorite. I mean, we can start collecting job titles. I have a business card sent to me by a man who said, "This is what the company gave me. This is my official business card. It identifies him as an executive snack route consultant." He drives a potato chip delivery truck.
I was just going to say, is that what he does?
That's what he does. And he was a little upset, but he said, this is what I'm stuck with. I have a friend who used to be a car mechanic who's an automotive internist. On the other hand, we can get to the very touchy area where in Philadelphia, just last year when the federal government moved in and closed down a hospital for gross negligence, they cited as an example during a routine examination, the physician incompetently perforated the patient's colon, leading to complications. The patient died. This was recorded by the hospital as a diagnostic misadventure of a high magnitude.
Oh my goodness. And that's very much of a serious nature,
yes,
too.
That's almost as good as a physician who wrote on a patient's chart, the patient died, that the patient failed to fulfill his wellness potential.
Do you think that people are very much aware of doublespeak, and are they acting out against it, or do you think people view it as just part of big government today, part of business today? This is, you know, just how it is, that type of thing.
I get hundreds of examples sent to me each month from all aspects of life. People are aware of it. They do see it, and they don't know what to do about it. One of the things to do is send it to me, and I collect it and publish it. That's something. But I always urge people to respond, to react to it. For example, the next time you go shopping and you go into the store that has the sign, "For your convenience, please check all packages at the desk," just go up to the desk and say, "Thank you, but I don't want to bother you. I'll keep them with me." And then when they say, "No, you must check your packages," then you should say, "Then you change your sign."
To say that.
It is not for my convenience. It is for their convenience, and it's there so they can prevent what they call inventory shrinkage. Shoplifting.
Right, right. Can you tell us about your background and how you got so involved in doublespeak?
Well, I was, rhetoric is, and the effective use of language is my specialty. And I was asked to join the Committee on Public Doublespeak because of my interest in language. And I had published a book on communication. And I became involved in the committee. Then I was selected to be chair of the committee, and then became editor of the Quarterly Review. And it just sort of grew as I went along.
And you have a new book coming out.
Yes.
What is the title of the book, and when will it be available?
The book is Doublespeak, From Revenue Enhancement to Terminal Living, How Government, Business, and Others Use Language to Deceive You. It'll be published in November by Harper & Row.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Well, let's get really disgusting. Let's go on to ground bone. If you buy hot dogs, God forbid that you do, or luncheon meat, or canned spaghetti products, you know, with the meat sauce, read the list of ingredients and you'll find MSM on the label. That's mechanically separated meat. Well, you know, you want the recipe for mechanic, I give the recipe in my book. Most people get sick when they hear this, but what you do is you sweep the floor after everything has gone down the line, and you take the bits of bone that are left over with things hanging off of it that they couldn't get off. And they grind it and grind it and grind and grind it, and then they push it through screens, very fine mesh screens. And this gets the bone out and gets this mushy, meaty stuff that they call mechanically separated meat. Now, the problem is that, of course, no process is perfect, so flecks of bone still get in the meat. Ever eat a piece of a bologna sandwich, you go crunch sometime, and it's the mechanically separated meat with the bits of bone. That's what you just got. Well, under regulations, they can use a certain percentage of this, but you see, they had to put ground bone on the label, and things weren't selling. Don't know why, but they weren't. So they got the food manufacturers got the Department of Agriculture to change it. So they changed it to powdered bone. Well, things didn't sell. So they changed it finally. So now you know what they list on there? They list the percentage of calcium. And in the waning days of the Reagan administration, a proposal was made to the Department of Agriculture to allow food processors to use up to 20% mechanically separated meat without labeling it at all on the label. So, you see, this kind of language means something.
Hi, I'm Dolly Vasta with the Red Hot Arts Update for you. Just to remind you that the fabulous Grease Band We'll be back and we'll open our summer concert season Friday, June 23rd, 7 o'clock p.m. at the East Brunswick Community Beach. Now, they're back by popular demand. You people just love them, and by negotiating, we were able to get them back again this year. So that's Friday, June 23rd, 7 o'clock p.m., free admission. In case of rain, which we really hope will not happen, the concert will be held at the East Brunswick High School. Now, if you get there at 6:30, and we're hoping you do, and families bring in their young people, the wonderful mime, Janet Berkowitz, who was with us Memorial Day, will be up there to play her mime games with the youngsters before the concert starts. So don't forget, June 23rd. And if you want to keep track of all our summer concerts, don't forget to pick up our calendar of events here, our little summer brochure. It's available at Provident Bank, the library, and over at the Municipal Building. If not, give me a call, 390-6825. And I'll see you again. Take care.
Hello, I'm Peter Balsamo, and welcome to this edition of DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, with Charles T. Schenck of the Edinburgh Veterinary Hospital, located right here in East Brunswick. Dr. Schenck, today I want to talk about older pets and the types of geriatric care that are available. What is a common illness in a pet that's, say, 9 years or older?
Well, Peter, at 9 years we begin to evaluate this dog for symptoms of old age degeneration. As we get older, body parts begin to wear out. So we begin to evaluate systems as the pet comes in for its routine annual physical. Anything we detect that looks like it might be a problem in the near future, we begin to pay attention to. The problems that we would see are obesity, heart disease. We may detect from the owner that kidney disease or bladder infections are a problem, or arthritis is a problem in many of our patients.
Now, which is the most common?
Probably obesity with resulting arthritis would be the most common ailment that our aging patients have. Later on, of course, the other aging processes of heart and kidney disease occur. But for the most part, from 9 years on, why obesity begins to take its toll, as so many of our pets are overfed.
So diet is definitely a prominent part in obesity and arthritis?
Definitely.
Okay, how about heart disease?
Heart disease, of course, directly reflects obesity. It's very difficult for the heart to pump through on a dog that is very overweight, very similar to our human considerations.
What type of diet would you recommend for dogs with heart disease and kidney failure?
Well, we try to evaluate those, Peter. There are a number of diets out. Some are critical care diets and some are just maintenance diets. This is determined through laboratory testing, electrocardiograms, and our physical examinations, plus the reports that the owner is able to give us on the progress at home.
Now, how often would an animal who is aging come to see you? I'm assuming that it's more frequent than a regular, healthy, younger animal.
It depends on the problem, Peter. Routine examinations are given yearly. If there are specific problems, then we arrange with the client to come in twice yearly or whatever is necessary for the particular problem involved.
And for the most part, do you find that most aged dogs live normally healthy lives?
Yes. Aging is a period in the animal's life of management. We can manage many of the problems that arise very easily if we are able to see that animal early and outline a program for the owner. Diet is very important in these programs. Outlining a series of medication or whatever is necessary for the particular problem is easily done if you get the problem early. Again, early checkups are far superior and allow us to work with the animal over a longer period of time. We can extend the life of the animal if we have a chance to do so by early diagnosis.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tom Picone of the Middlesex County Chiropractic Center here in East Brunswick. Today I'd like to review with you the causes of headaches, whether they be sinus headaches, tension headaches, vascular headaches, migraine headaches, or the typical whiplash type headache. I'm also going to show you what we as chiropractors do to reduce the pain and suffering of patients that suffer from headaches. What I'd like to show you behind me is a typical x-ray of a patient suffering from a whiplash type injury that would cause compression of a nerve root causing headaches. To my right, we have a normal cervical curvature, and it should occupy a C-shaped position with normal spacing maintained between all vertebrae and spacing between the first and second vertebra and the first vertebra and the skull being equal. These two spaces are very critical because the nerves exit from these spaces and go over the skull to the eyes, the sinus area, etc. What I'm going to show you on this patient is that the spaces are not equal because of the forward flexion and then reversal extension on a whiplash type injury. The ligaments have been injured, causing the vertebra to tip backward, crushing the nerve underneath and causing pressure on the intervertebral arteries, as you see demonstrated by the red and blue wires. Now, as you can see, the space should be wide, equally wide on the bottom and on the top. The reason for that is that on this nerve chart right here, you'll see this yellow wire or illustration indicating a spinal nerve that exits underneath the vertebra, goes up over the top of the scalp, into the eye, the sinus region, and into the forehead. In this particular patient, she was complaining of pain into the eyes, headache, and of course pain traveling from the base of the skull. Chiropractic attempts to restore this curvature, which has been pushed into an S-shaped position rather than a normal C-shape, will be attempts to normalize the curvature through specific adjustment, cervical collar, cervical traction, a special cervical pillow, all in the attempt to reduce the forward flexion of that vertebra. Now, what I'd like to show you here is exactly the mechanism that causes the headache. These individual spinal nerves, as they exit the spine, control the arteries, and the arteries have muscular walls, muscles just like you would have any other place in your body. When the electrical nerve flow has been interrupted to these artery walls, these muscular walls, the normal tone of that artery is lost, and the artery will tend to sag. This allows a greater opening for more blood to flow through. This is what causes the tremendous throbbing in a vascular type headache and a migraine type headache, etc. Chiropractic adjustments are designed to reduce that extra blood flow by getting the tone back into the arterial wall through chiropractic adjustment and restoring of the electrical nerve flow. When this is done, the throbbing and the extra blood to the area is reduced. Ice is also very beneficial for these types of headaches, as ice will also cause a constriction of the blood vessels. Chiropractic care is extremely successful in treating headaches, whether they be sinus, vascular, migraine type headaches, through specific chiropractic adjustment. This is Dr. Tom Picone for This Week in East Brunswick.
Hi, my name is Craig Schickler, and I'd like to tell you about this great book by Ruth Rendell entitled Heartstones. It's about a 16-year-old girl named Elvira whose mother dies. Of course she is upset, but not nearly as much as her younger sister Spinny, who was very close to her mother. Elvira, who has always been her father's closest child, is very concerned for him. Spinny thinks that their father, Luke, will be heartbroken, but Elvira disagrees. After all, Luke has her. What else could he possibly desire? But what happens when Luke brings home a beautiful young woman and introduces her as his fiancée, Mary Leonard? Elvira, of course, is terrified. How could she lose her beloved Luke? She vows the marriage will never take place. Check out this spine-tingling book at the public library as Ruth Rendell delves into the mind of a deeply disturbed girl. Heartstones has to go on your must-read list.
Store cable representatives fielded questions from the Township Council at the second public hearing aimed at determining whether or not to renew a multi-year cable television contract with the company. General Manager Richard Germano addressed several concerns previously voiced by residents and council members at the May 22nd public hearing. Included among the major concerns were high monthly rates, picture quality, lack of convenient office hours, and sporting event blackouts. In response to the issue of rate increases, Germano had this to say.
Obviously, or maybe not obviously, rates and programming are beyond the purview of this process and also beyond the purview of local, state, and federal regulation, at least at this point in time. I think there's three things to look at when looking at rates. One, rates were regulated for quite a long time, and the product itself became undervalued, where our rates were kept too low. So during the last 4 or 5 years, you may have seen a market adjustment in an economic sense to what the value of the product really is. The second thing to keep in mind is the future of regulation itself. And as many of you must be aware, there's legislation pending in federal courts now to look at re-regulation, of which rates may be something to be taken into account. So during the life of this term, we may see regulation again. I'm not going to try to hide that fact. The third thing to keep in mind is that we truly do try to keep our rates as low as we possibly can to meet our operational expenses. Our rate of return is certainly nowhere near outlandish, to use to coin a phrase. The rates, I think, will continue to increase. To stand here and say that they won't is wrong. I mean, inflation.
Regarding office hours, STORE has proposed expanding its evening hours to 7 p.m. during the week and 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Councilman Bill Kirk called for an even later weekday hour, suggesting that the office remain open until 8 or 8:30 on certain nights to accommodate commuters. Germano responded that this might be possible on an experimental basis. Germano also defended STORE regarding blackouts of sporting events, stating that they are regulated by the FCC and sports leagues, not STORE, and refuted a complaint that subscribers have difficulty reaching customer service representatives by phone. STORE has proposed to expand and upgrade its cable system to 54 channels from its current 42. Councilman Russell Walker thinks that having additional channels is not really necessary. Councilman Ira Oskowski wants these channels to be free or available under basic service. He thinks that, unless STORE can guarantee several basic channels, he would prefer to have a 5-year contract with no new channels instead of the proposed 10 or 15-year contract. The Council will again discuss the STORE cable issue next week at 7 p.m., at which time the Council will decide whether to have Township Attorney Bertram Bush draft a consent ordinance or a resolution of denial. The Council hopes to adopt the resolution or ordinance by July 24th. In other news, the Council has approved a resolution urging the State Assembly and Senate to pass a bill providing that all businesses, with the exception of food establishments, close for 2 hours on Memorial Day to honor veterans. And a resolution authorizing a public auction to take place on August 19th was also passed.
Hi, I'm Amy Fisher, the Information Officer for the school system. This evening I'm at East Brunswick High School for a very special occasion. It's the night when our students who have been in the high school equivalency diploma program and the adult and continuing education program will be receiving their awards. And you're going to hear a lot of speeches from various people, including our superintendent and some of the students. So we'll go right to the program now.
There's just one message that I want to pass on to you, and I've said this to graduating classes in the past, and I mean it most sincerely. As proud of you are tonight, as proud of yourselves as you are tonight, and you should be, I want you to remember one very important thing. People who have done what you have done, and people who have the courage that you have to have done it, and now that you have succeeded, you have taken on an obligation that I hope you will take very, very seriously. And the obligation is that you have to go out and talk to other people who don't quite yet have the courage that you've shown that you have. There are so many others just like you who really very much want to come back and get their diploma and haven't mustered up the courage to do it yet. And they just need that little bit of support. They need to be told, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, it's scary at the beginning, but I did it, and my friends helped me, and I'll help you. My family helped me, and your family will help you. You've got to give them that little bit of extra courage that they need, just like you found it someplace. Somebody gave it to you, or you found it within yourselves, but you have taken on that obligation now, whether you were ready for it or not, to go out and help others who are in exactly the same position.
As a result, you've really opened some new frontiers for yourselves. More and possibly better job opportunities are available. You could even take college courses that are offered here at our adult school and also some of the colleges and universities in the area as well. More importantly, even if you're currently happy in your present position or in your present occupation, or if you're not interested in going to college, you have seen that it's possible to set a goal and achieve that goal for yourself. That should really make you feel very, very proud and confident. And I certainly am very proud to be with you this evening, to have the opportunity to share in this celebration with you, your teachers, your family, and your friends. You all deserve to be complimented, and please accept my very best personal congratulations for a job well done, and my personal best wishes for your continued success. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cynthia Barrera, and I'm very proud and happy to be here tonight. 15 months ago, my husband and I came to the United States of America from Brazil in order to pursue a better life. Although I had been well educated in my native country, I knew that if I improved my academic skills, greater opportunities will be available for me. A friend of mine told me about the G.E.D. program in East Brunswick, so in January I began attending the morning classes. I found the work challenging and the people interesting and friendly. Donna, my teacher, was always encouraging and cheerful. Her belief in my abilities and my hard work have paid off because I have achieved my goal. I earned my G.E.D. diploma. As I look ahead to the future, I plan to continue my studies so that I will be able to pursue a career in which I will be able to help others.
My name is Constance Harlan, and I am thrilled to be here tonight. One of the reasons we are all here this evening is to pay homage to our great educational system. I feel very lucky to have been given a second chance to finish my high school education. Truly, there are many rewards in store for individuals who further the education. Confucius once said, "Even the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." I had put it off for many years, but tonight I am one of the happiest people here.
Safa Tawfiq. Anita Turi. Dawn Waldron. Randy Warfield.